Hi, I'm Bob Vila. Welcome home again. Today I've got a plaster story to tell you. We're going to be working on the ceiling in our living dining area, doing a patch job with the old-fashioned way, and then we're also doing some very interesting details with wallboard, which include lowering the level of the ceiling. When those are done, we're going to take you to Wilmington, Delaware, to tour the Georgia-Pacific plant where they manufacture the wallboard. And when we come back, we'll get together with Carlton Berger, the Tin Man, who's actually doing a vinyl job on the back of the house. So stay with me. It's good to have you home again.
Sears presents Home Again with Bob Vila.
Okay.
And now let's check in with Sabino Lux, who is our plastering contractor. And Sabino, you've done drywall all around the house, but this is a different kind of patch you're doing.
Using a base coat of plaster work.
Yeah. What we had here was a wing wall that we tore down, and rather than fill in the gap in the ceiling with drywall, Sabino's just filling it in now with brown coat, rough plaster, which is the old-fashioned way. You make first an application of this kind of plaster, and then you'll put on a finish coat. You go ahead and finish it up. Sabino, I've never seen anybody use the stilts quite that high. How tall are you?
I'm 5.5.
5.5. And the stilts are up about 3.5 feet, so you got your vengeance.
Yeah.
That's great. How much more of this stuff do you have to put on?
It's about this much.
Okay. Now the secret is that the mix is thick enough, it's stiff enough, that when you throw it up there like that, it stays in place.
I'm changing blade.
Okay. And now you do one final pass just to smooth it out with that blade?
12-inch blade.
Yeah. Now we use a 12-inch blade to put the final amount up there. And you've built it up about 1 inch, but it's stiff enough that it just stays in place. And that is the rough coat. It's got to set for about an hour before it's dry.
About an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Well, about an hour and a half.
Depends on how hot it is.
Right.
Today it'll probably take an hour. That looks pretty good, Sabino.
Okay.
Now, over on this side of the patch, you had already put it on earlier today so that the rough coat is dry.
That's right.
What do you put over it now to finish it off?
You're going to use the finish coat, joint compound.
This is a topping joint compound,
yeah.
which is a vinyl product, really.
Right.
Yeah. And this will stay on there as a skim coat? It won't crack?
It does. No, it won't.
Good job.
Yeah.
Show me how you put it on.
Okay. Yeah. Like this.
Yeah, and you
same
load up the
operation.
12-inch knife all the way. Yeah.
after this, it takes another coat.
Yeah. After this, it'll take one final coat? Okay. I'm going to let you go to work in a minute, but first let me ask you, how did you do this?
First, we put up 3 sheets of drywall.
Across here?
Across here, right.
Yeah.
And then another 2 sheets
so that
over.
You've added another 2 sheets below the first 3 sheets.
Right.
And then just cut the corners off and put on JV.
Right, that's what we did. Exactly what we did.
But it took all day, right?
It takes time, yeah.
Yeah, it
so
takes time to do it right. You've done a
right.
nice job. I'll let you get back to work. We're going to break for some messages. When we come back, we're going to be in Wilmington, Delaware, touring a plant where they make drywall. So stick around. We're in the port of Wilmington, Delaware, at the Georgia Pacific Wallboard plant, where every 3 weeks, a cargo vessel laden with about 30,000 tons of gypsum that's been quarried up in Nova Scotia arrives. And all that gypsum, which looks like this, comes on a conveyor belt and gets dumped into a huge pile behind me. That shed is about the size of a football field. And when it's filled with 30,000 tons of gypsum, it reaches all the way up to the ridge. Now, the gypsum, which the chemist would call calcium sulfate, is actually what we would know as plaster of Paris. And here at this facility, they take this stuff and they turn it into wallboard. We're going to get together with Monty Palmowski, the plant manager. He's going to show us how they do it. Come on. Hi, Monty.
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
You've got one noisy plant here, I got to tell you.
It gets a little quieter the farther we go up.
That's great to hear. What's happening up in here?
The gypsum rock you see, Bob, enters the process at this point.
Yeah.
It's taken through a series of grinding and drying processes.
So you're actually removing moisture from the rock?
That's correct, Bob. Those large cylindrical dryers you see are taking out the natural moisture of the rock.
Okay.
It then enters our Raymond roller mills. It is ground to a fine powder to go over to our kettles, at which point we remove the molecular water.
So you got an actual powder.
That's correct.
Then what's next?
What's next is it enters the production process.
Let's show.
Good.
Yeah.
The second most important ingredient in the manufacture of wallboard is paper, Bob. Face paper and back paper. We've got plenty of it. What you see here, Bob, are 2 sets of paper. One for the back of the wallboard, one for the front of the wallboard.
Okay. Are they the same kind of paper?
No, they're not, Bob. This is the back of the paper. It's a rougher grade.
It's rough, yeah.
Here's the front of the paper. Special size surface to accept paint.
Okay. So where do you actually start making the wallboard?
Right down here, Bob. At this point, we've got the face paper coming over here. We're laying down a slurry of gypsum and other ingredients on it.
Yeah.
We're folding the edges. We're applying glue with these wheels so that we can glue the back paper to the face paper.
Slow down then. That's the paper that goes on the back.
That's correct. The paper here is the paper that goes on the front.
And what's the glue for?
The glue is to glue the back paper to the face paper because we're going to hold these edges.
Oh, you're bending you're folding the edges.
That's correct. Please
Okay.
making sure there's no lumps in the mix.
Good job, Lee.
At this point, we're actually adjusting the thickness of the wallboard, and we've got finished wallboard coming out of here, 48 inches by 800 feet.
So you got a 4 by 800 foot sheet of wallboard here, huh?
That's correct, and the slurry is still soft here.
Still soft.
The reason we have to have 800 feet is that at the speeds we run, by the time it gets to the knife and is cut, we don't want the slurry leaking out of it.
So it's dried up by the time it gets to the end.
Hardened up, correct.
Hardened up. Is that the next step? Cutting
Yes.
it? Monty, this line seems to about 5 miles long. It's enormous.
Well, we're halfway down, Bob.
Yeah,
If you feel the board, you'll see the core has considerably stiffened up.
sure.
We're making 12-foot wallboard here.
4 by 12 sheets.
That's correct. But you'll notice we cut it every 36 feet, which is a cut, score, score, then a cut.
So you've got a 36-foot length. Why is that?
That's correct. What we try to do, we're tracking through a 700-foot drying oven. It tracks a lot better the longer the length.
If they're longer lengths, okay.
correct. The reason we're flipping the boards at this point, Bob, is so that if they pick up any burn marks as they enter the oven, it'll be on the back of the board.
Okay. Now, what's the conveyor belt doing here, though?
Well, since we have a 10-deck drying oven, we have to get as much wallboard into the oven as we can, so we index it deck by deck.
And so you'll actually have 10 layers of wallboard going into the drying oven.
That is correct.
And this is a smart conveyor, and it just kind of knows when it's fed one level, and it moves itself up to the next one.
Yes, it has a proximity switch on it that knows what level it's on.
How hot is the oven?
The oven is 600 degrees in the first zone. The boards spend about 35 minutes drying throughout the entire oven. 35 minutes, and then at the other end they're coming out already dry? That's correct.
Let's take a look.
Sure.
This is really the way to go.
That's the way everybody goes in a plant.
But you got to go 800 feet in one direction and 800 feet in the other.
That's true.
You got to ride a bike. Okay.
At this point, we separate the boards on the perforations that we saw at the knife.
Yeah.
This is a machine that actually breaks the boards into the saleable lengths.
So all you're doing is you're kind of changing the level and pressing on it.
That's correct. We're
So
snapping
that you
it.
snap it where the score mark is. And then are they done? Are they ready for packaging?
Not quite, Bob. We send them over to our end saws, which then cuts them to the exact length, and then we bundle them and tape them.
Well, Monty, that was a terrific tour. We know just all there is to know about how you make wallboard. I'm curious as to how much you make in a day.
Bob, our average daily production is 1.3 million square feet.
That's a lot. I can't quite relate to those figures. Watch out.
That's enough to build 300 single-family homes.
300 single-family homes.
Yes.
One day.
One day.
More than we'll ever need. But thanks for the tour.
Thanks for coming.
I really enjoyed it. We've got a break for some messages, but when we return, we'll be working on the back wall of our Chicago 2-flat. You know, lots of these urban townhouses, 2-flats and the like, often had 2-story wooden porches at the rear end. They were used for sleeping porches in the summer or whatever. And very often in the 30s and the 40s, they got covered up with this asphalt siding material, which is very sturdy, long-lasting, and very ugly in most cases. And what we're doing here is replacing it, not only because we don't like the looks, but because we added a window up there that really makes it impossible to do a match. Carlton Berger.
How do you do, Bob? Nice to meet you.
Some might call you the Tin Man, but this is vinyl we're putting on, right?
This is vinyl, yes.
How do you get started?
Well, the first thing we do, Bob, is to put on our corner posts, and this is the item that goes on. As you can see, it goes for both sides, and it's nailed where it has elongated nail holes
Right.
to allow for to allow for expansion and contraction.
Okay.
Now, our first panel is first of all we take our starter course, and the starter course, as you see it right here, is taken and laid on an even line at the very start for the first course of material to slip inside it.
Right.
So that it will fit now. The starter course will fit
Right into the corner.
Will fit right into
at the
will fit
bottom
right
like
into
that,
the outside
yeah.
corner post, and then the first panel is taken and hooked.
Clips
into
underneath it.
Clips underneath of it. And
Yeah, there you
is
go.
Brought
out to the corner.
It's brought over and into the corner.
It's all a series of interlapping folds, right?
It's sort of like building with an erector. So
Yeah,
the same,
right.
The same idea.
Of course, the great advantage is that you're not putting up one single clapboard at a time. You're putting up 3 at a time, right?
Their siding comes in 8 and 10-inch widths, where they would be either a 333, 444, or an 8-inch, depending upon
The exposure.
Depending upon the exposure.
Yeah. Let me ask you one question. Why vinyl as opposed to aluminum? Is vinyl more popular these days?
Well, we find that statistically throughout the country, there's twice as much vinyl being used as there is aluminum.
Yeah. Why do you suppose that is?
One is for the ease of working with it. Once the men get used to it, it's an easier product to handle. Another is it's solid color clear through, so there's no such thing as dirt that gets on there that you can't get off. You can scrub this with an SOS pad or an abrasive cleaner. It doesn't dent. If the children are out while the siding is on, the
Tossing a
children
ball
are
at
out
it,
tossing
yeah.
a ball around. Nobody has to worry about the siding denting. Mother doesn't have to come running out because she hears a few noises.
Is it less money?
You're going to find that it's like anything else. It's going to depend upon the grade of material that is purchased. Aluminum today has become an extremely expensive product.
Why is that?
There's a shortage of aluminum. Most of your aluminum is going into commercial. The aluminum sidings that we're using today, I believe, are mostly from recycled products.
And they're for commercial applications.
And for commercial applications.
I like this color.
We're very proud of it. It's something that's taken hold. It's one of the new colors that have been developed. Years ago, when vinyl first came out, you wouldn't have been able to get a deep tone like this because they did not have the tolerances set up for expansion and contraction and the chemical properties that go into it.
Yeah.
We even have reds and deep browns today.
So Carlton, I've been noticing that they don't really drive these nails. They seem to just leave them out about an eighth of an inch.
Well, siding is not supposed to be nailed, Bob. Siding is supposed to be hung. And we have to allow for expansion and contraction of the wall, particularly with the extreme temperatures that we have in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah.
Stabilizers are built into the materials, but it will still vary around extreme changes, about a quarter of an inch to a 12.5-foot panel.
Really? That's looking good, Carlton. Now, how does he deal with the transition to a window?
Well, the first step is to pre-caulk the window using a butyl caulking to preclude the possibility of any water getting from behind the siding and into the house itself.
Sure.
Then our next step is to take a window J channel. As you see George doing it now, we butt it up against the casing, and this allows the siding to be received into it.
Okay.
In installing the siding, we cut it back so it's a quarter of an inch to allow for expansion and contraction.
So you don't want to butt the siding right in there because you might end up with it buckling.
Absolutely.
Keep it back a quarter inch.
Then that way you won't have any trouble. Everything, of course, loose nailed to allow for it to ride.
Yeah. It's interesting, Carl, because when you look at the siding from one side, you don't see any of these vertical seams. And then when you look at it from the other side, they're quite evident. Don't you have to worry about the weather getting in there?
Well, you don't have to worry about the weather, Bob, because the panels are overlapped 3/4 of an inch. And of course, if we did caulk down here, it would not allow for expansion and contraction of the siding. However, the idea of the seams being laid in one direction is so that the job will be laid out properly, so from the street, you're not going to be able to see the seams.
You don't see any of them. Good, okay, but also you want it to expand and contract.
Want it to expand and contract.
Good. We're going to let the guys fly up there, but right now we have to break for some messages. Stay with us. Carlton, that really looks nice, and I know that'll be done in another hour or so, but we're running short of time. Listen, how much does a job like this cost?
I'd say, Bob, right in the neighborhood of about $2,000, but of course, that doesn't include insulation or a house wrap, and it doesn't include wrapping the windows.
Yeah. Okay. This is the basics. $2,000. Nice job.
Thank you. Very
Thanks
nice.
a lot.
Thank you very, very much.
And that's a wrap for us for this week. Come home again next week. when we're going to be doing lots of interesting things, including taking a little tour of the progress inside with Kathy Caravat, our real estate agent, and checking the budget with Ron. We're also going to the merchandise mart again so that we can look at some fantastic kitchen appliances. And back in here in the bathroom, Roger, our tile setter, will show us how to do a good old-fashioned mud job on the floor and then set the tiles in a pattern that's been designed by Bill, the architect. So don't miss it. Till then, I'm Bob Vila.